Lisa Rasticu, you know her?
Is Tina there?
Yeah.
Where? I can see her.
She's in. Tina's logged in.
Why don't you move over a little bit? Your half off this.
I'm going to turn my mic off now, Lou.
Why?
I don't want to talk when it's live.
Oh, okay.
You never know what I'm going to say.
Just to be safe.
Thanks for logging in for me. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, everybody. I can't see the screen to see how many board members are here. Maybe, Beth, could you maybe just do a roll call, make sure everybody's here, and we'll get the meeting started.
Mr. Bednard.
Yep.
Ms. Aquino. Ms. Aquino. Mr. Soba.
I'm here.
Yes, I'm here too.
Okay. Mr. Wojtovich.
Here.
Mr. Patzer.
Yes.
Myself here. Mr. Bednard, we have everybody.
Excellent. Okay.
Not you.
Okay, I'm here too.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jill.
That's okay.
Okay. All right. So we'll call to order the Chippewa Valley Schools Board of Education meeting for December 14th, 2020.
Wait a minute. Is Robert on? Did you take?
Yeah.
You hit
Yeah, Mr. Wojtovich is here.
I'm here.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
At 6:31 is our opening time here. We'll waive the pledge this evening. Moving on to B, additions, deletions. We have none this evening. Moving on to C, recognition presentations. Mr. Roberts.
Sure. Thanks, Mr. Bednar. Tonight, as you know, is a special evening, as it's Andy Patzert's last board meeting. And so we're going to do a brief presentation for Andy. And it's just going to be—
Where are you?
I'm here. So we'd like to briefly recognize Andy Patzert, as this is, after 18 years of being on the Chippewa Valley Board of Education, his last meeting. I use the word briefly only because Andy is not one to seek attention. Therefore, I am walking the line carefully this evening by recognizing Andy, but not giving him too much attention. He would find too much attention embarrassing. Oddly enough, I really think this quality, the quality of putting others first, is what made Andy such an excellent board member. Andy was always concerned about others. This was reflected in every decision he made. It may seem cliche, but I can safely say that regardless of the decision made, Andy was always thinking about the kids. Andy cares about all our kids, regardless of age or grade, regardless of academic ability, regardless of athletic ability. I think his biggest soft spot is for those with unique learning needs. You see, to Andy, he really saw public education as a place where the commitment should be to all students. It does go much deeper than that, though, as Andy just cares about people. I know that he cares about every person in this community, regardless of the job. If you are a member of the Chippewa Valley community, Andy cares about you. There are so many examples of this. One area that stands out for me is negotiations. When we were negotiating contracts, Andy was always very concerned that we were treating everyone fairly. Sometimes it was if Andy was their chief negotiator. There was what the various associations thought they needed, what administration thought we could afford, and what generous Andy thought everyone was worth. In the end, he always helped us reach an amicable resolution. It always came down to how Andy cared for the employees. It was important to him to recognize people for their efforts and commitment to this district. Due to Andy's 32-year career as a counselor and coach in the district, Andy has many connections. Those connections are with employees, former students, and the parents of those former students. It was not uncommon to have someone come to the podium to address the board and inform us that Andy had been his or her high school counselor. That was always said with a smile. You see, for that person, it was a good memory, because I'm sure to the student, Andy had a way of making what seemed like a big problem not such a big problem. Next to Chippewa Valley, Andy's biggest commitment was always to his wife, Lynn, his children, and his grandchildren. Andy always told you enough about his family that made you know how much he loved them, but not so much that you didn't want to hear any more about them. A special thank you tonight to Lynn. She served as the official listener to Andy as he told a seemingly endless array of jokes. Some pretty good, some okay, and some not so good. Her reaction to all were the same. She would just shrug her shoulders and smile. She is his perfect audience of one. Tonight marks the end of Andy's official 50-year career in the Chippewa Valley schools. That's impressive. Nevertheless, we all know Andy won't be away. He just won't be at board meetings. We can all expect to see him around as he continues to support the district that had the foresight many years ago to offer a young man from Gary, Indiana, the position of high school counselor in a place he had never heard of. Andy, thank you for 18 years as a board member and 50 total years within the Chippewa Valley schools. I think we need to applaud for Andy.
Thank you very much. It's a happy, sad day. Happy that the meetings and drama are over. Sad that my love affair with Chippewa Valley is over. And I'm going to miss my fellow board members. They were great people, honorable people. And I will say that over my career, I have been very impressed with the people involved in Chippewa Valley schools, the leadership. And Ron Roberts, what a great superintendent and leader of our district. Thank you very much.
And Andy, tonight we have your longtime comrades at Chippewa Valley. We have Tony and Lou Ferravento, and I think Tony wants to say a few words. So Tony?
Yeah, thank you, Ron. Just glad that you could let Lou and I say a few words here. Lou and I have been friends with Andy, have been his colleagues since 1977. You know, I taught in the building with him while I was a counselor. As we know, Lou was his secretary. We know Andy doesn't like this kind of stuff and his attention, but too bad he's got to sit here and listen to us. As you said earlier, Ron, Andy has always put the Chippewa students first when it comes to his decisions, whether it was as a school board member, as a counselor, and quietly behind the scenes, he has helped numerous people philanthropically throughout the years, and he does it quietly without many people knowing. Now, as a counselor, I have one story to tell. You know, as a counselor, he is a soccer coach, and he has always championed for kids. The story I'd like to share is, a few years ago, I had a couple parents come into parent-teacher conference, and they asked about Andy. And I told him, you know, he's a school board member. And he said, oh, he says, he was our counselor. I was a student there back, and it was either late 60s, early 70s. He says, and I wasn't much of a student. I really didn't like going to school that much. I used to spend a lot of time in Andy's office. So my junior year, Andy calls me in for scheduling and says, hey, I got a great opportunity for you. Got this new program starting next year. You're going to be able to work a couple hours a day and only have to go to school 4 hours. You're going to get paid. You're going to get credit. And the guy goes, man, I just loved it. It was a great thing. So Andy made arrangements and got him a job down there on Cass Avenue at the granite shop across from the cemetery. So I asked the guy, I said, well, so what you doing now? He says, oh, I own the shop. So I said, wow, it looks like Andy was on the cutting edge of a CTE co-op program and stuff. And, you know, he was a champion for our kids, even though it might have been because the kid didn't want to be in school that much, but he knew what was good for that kid. And that guy still remembers him. And like I said, he owns the shop now. Now, in closing, as history continues here in the Valley, we know that Andy will definitely be an integral component of our history and someone who always cares. And like you said, Ron, I always think his laugh will be remembered forever. Thank you, Andy, for your time and friendship. It's been a great, for me, 40 some years.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Tony and Lou. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for being there, Lou. Yes.
Did board members wait till during of and by the board, or
If you would like to do that way, or you like to do it, whatever is your preference.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm just asking. I get very emotional though, so it's up to you guys.
Whatever everybody wants, you know.
Okay, whoever
talk about Andy, so.
can talk first. Let me get my act together here for a second. I don't have anything written down.
Okay, yeah, because you got a video, I think, too, right, Ron, coming up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe it's the video.
All right, Sarah, if you would please, we have a little video put together here.
Boy.
Andy Patzer, trustee, has served for over 16 years on the board. He is retired from Chippewa Valley High School after 32 years as a counselor, teacher, and coach. Andy's married to his wife, Lynn, and they have 3 children. His son graduated from Chippewa Valley High School in 1989.
This is a great day for Chippewa Valley. I was here back in 1965. We had 2 schools. Now we're going for number 18. Growth is a wonderful thing. Great school system. People love coming here, moving in. Great day for Chippewa Valley.
Andy is a big supporter of our athletic programs and a frequent face of school activities. He served on numerous committees, including the Chippewa Valley Athletic Hall of Fame Committee, and he was inducted into the Chippewa Valley High School Hall of Fame for his accomplishments in the area of athletics. He has served on the curriculum subcommittee and the operations subcommittee. Thank you, Andy.
Well, I don't know what it is. I'll have to have Tina do it.
Holidays are the season of giving, and we know one of the most important things we can teach our students is how to respond when others are in need.
1,000 people here, we're ready to roll. Let's go.
Okay.
Is anybody else from the board? I'm sure someone else wants to say something, but I'll start off as usual. Andy has berated me now for 18 years about how much I talk, how many questions I ask, but I will really miss Andy as a board member. But the thing about Andy is I feel like we have a relationship. We will stay in touch. We will go to breakfast. Andy's, I'm like a really, relationships are really important to me. And Andy and I have had a great relationship, even though he constantly makes fun of me and says I talk too much. But I know deep down inside, he likes me. So when Andy was elected in whatever, 18 years ago, I was working at the school at Mohawk, and his grandson, who he's so proud of all of his grandchildren, and he deserves to be, Blake, was a baby in the stroller, and his daughter Lisa was, of course, with him. And I said, "Oh my gosh, he looks just like Andy." I said, "Poor kid." I just want to say that the great thing about Andy being on the board, and one thing I truly believe about being on a board together, is that we've really gotten to know each other's families. Andy was at all my kids' graduation parties, my 60th birthday. We've gone to lunch together, breakfast together. We don't always agree. He tells me that he knows everything and I know nothing, which may be true. I don't agree with that, of course, but I just want to say I will really miss you, Andy. But I plan to stay in touch. And of course, you always have the good gossip from all of your oldie but goodie friends that are still left in Chippewa Valley. So, but I will miss you terribly. And I want you to stay healthy, and that's important to me. So I want you to take care of yourself just like I need to, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's enough, Ron. I'm ready to move on.
I was going to say a few things, Andy, just real quickly. Congratulations. It's been just an honor knowing you and knowing of you, and you know, all the, as Ron mentioned, all the different students that, you know, parents, people we ran into in the community for so many years, all knew Patrick and all had nothing but great things to say about him, you know. So become great friends through the years. Got to know my children, met your family, and been on, you know, different things together, and had some great times and great laughs, and always been a great voice on the Board of Education for us. Always somebody that was very unbiased, and as Ron said, wanted to be fair. So, you know, I always like to tune in with Patrick, make sure you got his opinion on something before making a decision, because he usually had something good to add, you know, maybe a perspective that you hadn't thought about. And Andy was always good for that. So with that, I just want to say thanks, Andy. Don't be a stranger. When the kids get back in town, we'll have to get some breakfast one of these days here. For sure.
Thanks, Frank.
Can I say something real quick too, Frank?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it simple, Andy.
Thanks.
And say thanks for everything. Your commitment's amazing. Your friendship's been great. We're going to miss you. It's going to be a lot duller on Monday nights around here without you. And we'll continue with breakfasts.
Perfect. Thanks, George.
Hey, Frank, I just have something really quick because Denise made me start crying. And I don't want to do that again because I actually did put some mascara on today, Andy. And I just want to say thank you for being my friend, my mentor, and often my voice of reason, and often my first phone call in the morning. I'm really going to miss you.
Thanks, Beth, my little valedictorian. The brains of the outfit. Thank you very much. Okay, Frank, let's move on.
All right, you got it, Andy. Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
That was awesome.
I'm going on mute, so let's go, Frank.
Okay. We're going to move next to anything else, Ron, under presentations?
No, that's it this evening.
Okay, moving next to D, general consent agenda. Can we have a motion to pass the general consent agenda?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Patrick.
A second.
Second by
Joe.
Okay, Mr. McZeck, seconding. Anything on the consent agenda that any board members would like to have removed, discussed further, questions about? All right, hearing none. Can we have a roll call vote? Ms. Hyden, please.
Sure. Mr. Patzert.
Yes.
Mr. Mizek.
Yes.
Ms. Aquino.
Yes.
Mr. Bednard.
Yes.
Mr. Soba.
Yes.
Mr. Vojtovich.
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Okay. That motion passes. No retirements, but we did have a few new employees named on here. Ron, I don't know if they're with us this evening or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Adam. Is anyone in the house here today?
None of the teachers are joining us. We do have the one administrative hiring in which Aaron's on the call.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we'll keep moving then. Moving to E from the community. I think we have two people that would like to speak to the board. Ms. White, is there additional, or is just the two folks?
It is just the two, but I am not seeing either one in the meeting right now.
Okay.
Neither has joined.
Let's give it a second here. We'll read the, as is customary before we do community, I always read out the rules so everybody understands. So, we're going to move forward as we go through the community comment. Just a couple of things while we're waiting for them to join. I'll read through. First of all, each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 5 minutes duration. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members individually. Complaints against identifiable school personnel may not be expressed in an open meeting. Such complaints should first be submitted in writing to the board and aired in an open or closed session according to the wish of the persons involved. As presiding officer, I may interrupt, warn, or terminate participant's statement when the statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Request any person to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum. Call for a recess for an adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting as to warrant such action. And waive these rules with the approval of the board when necessary for the protection of privacy or the administration of the board's business. So that's our rules. Again, it's just comments that the community has been, had so many of them, you know, with the pandemic going on, with our community coming and speaking, and it's been constructive. That's how I'd like to kind of term it. You know, we don't get to hear everything we want to hear, and certainly but it is constructive. The parents have been very respectful in the tone they've used with the board and have followed these rules and have had a very good community portion this whole year. So with that, I'll go back to Ms. Monier White. Do we have any folks on tonight? Or?
We do have Dr. Fighton from Oakland University just joined us.
Okay, we'll start with Dr. Fighton and then see if our other parent shows up. Hello, Dr. Fighton.
Good evening.
Hello, yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Please make your comments to the board.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me see if I can get my camera turned on here.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you so much for giving me time this evening. I greatly appreciate it. President Bednard, members of the board, Superintendent, I'm pleased to be with you this evening. We just wanted to take a few minutes tonight to thank Chippewa Valley Schools for their partnership. We've been working together for several years, and we just wanted to make sure we had an opportunity to formally thank you. Your building administrators and teachers and other staff have really worked valiantly over the course of this pandemic. But in addition to what's considered the new normal, you have administrators and teachers who have gone above and beyond and agreed to mentor future educators from Oakland University. And we are so appreciative of those people. Chippewa Valley this semester took over 30 field students to work with and provided them with a home and with the mentoring that they need to help create a strong pipeline for the future teachers. Additionally, it's not just your teachers, but your superintendent, Mr. Roberts, joined us last week and was kind enough to share interviewing advice and tips with our graduates, and we greatly appreciated his presence and words. So again, we just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the entire Chippewa Valley community for their continued partnership and work with Oakland graduates. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor, for sharing those comments and coming on to our, taking your time to come on to our meeting and share those with our community and our board. I don't know, Ron, if there's anything you wanted to add on to that.
I do want to add, I know we've always had a strong partnership with Oakland University, which we're very proud of, and it's important to us. But I would also like to add that we are one of the largest employers of Oakland University education grads. So a lot of wonderful people got degrees from Oakland University and Don too. So we've got others. And so this is something we certainly want to keep strong as we go into the future. So thanks for being here with us this evening, Dr. Fighton.
Thank you again. We greatly appreciate the partnership.
Thank you. All right, Mrs. White, do we have our parent with us?
Our other speaker has not joined the meeting.
Okay, perhaps if they are showing up later, something we can get them in further down the agenda if the board's all right with that. But we'll move on at this point. Okay, so we're going to move to F, old business. We have none this evening. Moving on to G, new business. G1, approve change order summary report for November 2020. Mr. Sutherland.
The recommended motions that the Chippewa Valley Schools Board of Education approve the 2018 bond issue change order summary report for the month of November 2020.
I have a motion, please.
I'll move. It's George.
Moved by Mr. Soba.
This is Jill. I'll support.
Mr. Mixak, support. Rationale, please.
This work consists of changes to existing contracts for the purpose of owner-requested work, deducts, code compliance, or hidden conditions on the construction and equipment projects. All amounts are within the contingency budget allocation. This report was reviewed with the Building and Site Subcommittee on Monday, December 7th, 2020, and funding will come from the 2018 Building and Site Fund.
Questions or comments by the board? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Pyden?
Of course, Mr. Soba.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Demink-Zek.
Yes.
Ms. Aquino.
Yes.
Mr. Bednard.
Yes.
Mr. Patzert.
Yes.
Mr. Wojtovich.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to G2, award contracts, summer 2021 renovations and site work. Mr. Sutherland.
The recommended motions that the Chippewa Valley Schools Board of Education awards contracts totaling $11,203,989 to the following contractors for the summer 2021 renovation and site work projects at various buildings throughout the district.
Motion, please.
I'll move.
Moved by Ms. Aquino.
I'll support Frank.
Supported by Mr. Sobel. Rationale, please.
This project will consist of renovations and/or site work at Cherokee, Erie, Huron, Miami, Algonquin, Iroquois, Seneca, Chippewa Valley 9th Grade Center, Chippewa Valley High School, Dakota High School, Mohegan, and the Administration Complex. The bids received are within the budget allocation identified for the 2018 bond issue program. These projects are scheduled to start in early 2021 and completed by the end of summer 2021. This information was reviewed with the Building and Site Subcommittee on Monday, December 7th, 2020.
Questions or comments by the board?
Adjustments like you would with a band. You don't get dumping like you would with the bypass.
I'm hearing something, but I'm not sure if it's a board member asking a question. Any questions by the board?
No.
Okay, hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Pyden, please.
Ms. Aquino.
Yes.
Mr. Soba.
Yes.
Mr. Bednard.
Yes.
Mr. Patzert.
Yes.
Mr. Wojtovich.
Abstain.
Ms. Zek.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Motion carries.
Okay. Note for the record that Mr. Wojtovich sustained that vote. All right, we'll move on to G3. Approve personnel transaction, hire of a district systems and desktop support coordinator, Mr. Roberts.
Recommended motion that the Chippewa Valley Schools Board of Education approve the appointment of Mr. Aaron Harm to the position of District Systems and Desktop Support Coordinator Effective start date is to be determined.
A motion, please.
Make that motion, Frank.
Mr. Patrick?
This is Jill. I'll support.
Mr. Mezak, support. Rationale, please, Mr. Roberts.
Mr. Harm is being appointed to fill a new vacancy, and he meets all the qualifications specified in the posting.
Okay. Questions or comments by the board?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So I mentioned a hiatal hernia. We automatically will evaluate you for a hiatal hernia.
Questions by the board? Okay. Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Biden, please.
Sure, Mr. Patzer,
Yes.
Ms. Demizak,
Yes.
Ms. Aquino,
Okay, yes, I'm sorry.
Mr. Bednard,
Yes.
Mr. Soba,
Yes.
Mr. Vojtovich,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion carries.
Very good. Mr. Roberts, you said that Mr. Harm is with us this evening?
Yes, we have Mr. Harm is, there he is. Aaron, if you would like to say a few words about your, maybe your journey to this position, and that'd be great.
Sure, thank you, sir. My name is Aaron Harm, and I've been in the IT field for a little over 10 years now in varying capacities. Started working with a few local small businesses, doing desktop support and network support before I decided to pursue my degree in information technology. Since I've gotten my degree, I started working for several enterprise level companies, Costco and Fiat Chrysler, before I moved on to Chippewa Valley Schools, where I currently work as a help desk technician. And I really want to thank the board and Superintendent Roberts for the opportunity to be considered for this position today. And also really thank the Chippewa Valley Schools tech admin team for recommending me today.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. Aaron thanked me there, but that was unnecessary because I just count on a wonderful administrative team to send me great candidates. And then I interview them and I say, yes, you're still sending me great candidates. So, but I think Sarah was going to say a few words because she knows Aaron quite well from the tech department.
We're very excited to have Aaron move into this new leadership capacity. He's been with us for 2.5 years and has proven over and over again that he is a problem solver. He takes initiative. He takes the lead on projects. He goes above and beyond continuously. So we're very excited to continue to have him on board and give him some new opportunities to learn and grow.
Excellent.
Okay. Mr. Bednard, that's it. He'll be a great member of the administrative team.
Yeah, welcome, Mr. Harm,
Welcome, Mr.
Chippewa Valley family. And we know you've been with us for a little bit now, but in your new position. And we thank you for taking the initiative to join our team in that case. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll move on to H, Union Communications. Do we have any union leadership with us tonight that'd like to speak?
Yes, Mr. Bednard, I'd like to speak, please. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
I'd like to talk about Mr. Patzert. Andy left his mark first as a teacher for 32 years in Chippewa Valley. He then ran for the school board and became an even bigger part of Chippewa Valley family. He's been a huge part of the many activities of Chippewa Valley, and he has been a part of the board that has been responsible for the growth of Chippewa Valley. Anyone that you ask in Chippewa Valley knows Andy Patzert as a big part of the community. I'd also like to thank his wife, Lynn, for sharing him with us because he has totally committed himself to Chippewa Valley and all of the activities. Andy has a unique perspective as a board member because he has shown that he cares about everyone in Chippewa Valley, the students, the staff, and the community. And that's an admirable thing to happen as a board member because he has shown his commitment to all of those people. He will be sorely missed. I know he'll still be around, but Monday nights won't be the same without Andy Patzert on the board. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you very much. Well appreciated.
Thank you, Ms. Levine. Any other union leadership that'd like to address the board this evening?
Yes, I would.
Yes, please.
Mr. Patzert, this is on behalf of the Paraprom Monitors Group. I just wanted to say thank you to you for all the support you've shown our unit through the years. You're going to be greatly missed by all of us, and we greatly appreciate what you've done, not only for our unit, but for all of the children in this district. On behalf of everyone, we'd like to say thank you and wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other union leadership would like to address the board. Okay, thank you, Mr. Gack and Ms. Levine, for your comments this evening. We'll move on to administrative reports. Ron, we have anything?
Yeah, I just have a couple items. First of all, Mr. Bednar, did we introduce Robert this evening? I can't remember. I was so excited to do Andy's going away that we may have skipped that at the beginning, unless you were going to do it.
Wait a minute, you were excited to do my going?
Well, Andy, I worked on my speech all day.
You did?
That's all I did. I was excited to read it. So yes, I was. And to honor your wife.
How come my picture's not hanging on your wall behind?
Oh, jeez. Well, we'll talk about that later. But I think we need to introduce Robert, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, we started that meeting and it totally slipped my mind at the beginning. But for the people who are on this board meeting and for our board members this evening, you know, Robert Wojtowicz is here this evening, and Robert was appointed to fill the vacancy created by Laura Cardamone when she went to the township as a trustee. So Robert's actually appointed to fill a vacancy, which is for tonight's meeting. And just in case anything comes up between now and January 1st, that he would be involved in that too. So I just, as superintendent, behalf of our administrative team, want to welcome you to the Board of Education. And I know you get a quick little start tonight and you'll be there full-time January 1st. So just welcome, Robert. And then I also, to the board, want to, just last week in another meeting, we talked about the African-American Parent Network, which has become quite a large group within our district with generally 60 people that attend meetings. And there is a meeting scheduled this Thursday if any board members would like to attend. This is one that works in my schedule, so I'll be there. If you would like to attend, just let me know. You can do it comfortably from your home, and that starts at 7 o'clock on Thursday. And that's led by Harry Weaver. So that's Thursday. Also this morning, I had the pleasure to visit the classroom of Molly DeBono, who is a first grade teacher at Erie. And she was awarded an Educational Excellence Award, which is sponsored by the Michigan Lottery. And it's supported by Channel 7, WXYZ. So they've already interviewed Molly, and some features will run on Channel 7 throughout the state, any of their affiliates, starting, I think it's January 18th. So if you're a Channel 7 watcher, you'll probably notice it at that time. If you're not a Channel 7 watcher, that's a good time to switch over for at least a while and see if you can see the feature from regarding Molly. And I had an opportunity to watch her teach, and what an excellent teacher. I mean, to her strategies with first graders in a remote setting were phenomenal. The kids were completely engaged and having fun, and she knew exactly how to pace it. So I was really impressed with her teaching. And after watching that, I really understand why she was nominated and recognized by the Michigan Lottery and Channel 7. So I just want to say congratulations to Molly DeBono from Erie Elementary. And that's it for administrative reports this evening. And we have no curriculum updates this evening either.
Okay, we'll move on to Kay, of and by the board.
I just want to say one thing. I forgot a couple things about Andy I wanted to say. Is that Andy, the other thing about Andy, and Tony certainly talked about this a little bit, but Andy is, he's actually a pretty, I wouldn't say shy, that's for sure, but he never wants to be recognized for the great things he does. He doesn't. He has paid for kids pay to play behind the scenes. You know, nobody knows that except for the people he's close to. He has done, like, gotten people jobs. He's always there to help. If his friends need a mortgage, and he always tries to get him a deal. He just is a really wonderful person behind the scenes and always worries about these kids. I mean, if you have a fundraiser, Andy's the first one to give you something. If there's a giving tree, Andy's always, what can I get? You know, blah, blah, blah. I'll send you some money. But he also takes care of his family in the same way, as a great family. And I've had the pleasure of getting to know them. And I really, when Andy got sick and was in the hospital before a board meeting, you know, I was worried, went to the hospital and hung out with his family. So, but he just really is a very giving person behind the scenes, and he probably will continue to do that. I would not be at all surprised. It has nothing to do with being a board member. It has to do with loving Chippewa Valley and the people and the students of Chippewa Valley. That's all, Andy. Sorry, I know you don't like
That's enough. Thank you. So, Mr. Roberts, I remember our first superintendent, Gordon Peckham, and times have changed. In 1965, when Gordon was shopping for the school districts, he was saving up S&H green stamps to buy stuff. We've progressed a long way from S&H green stamps. So those were the good old days, eh, Ron?
I remember S&H green stamps, but I wasn't old enough to collect them. So
yeah, he actually shopped for S&H green stamp. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for tonight. And Ron, thanks for your wonderful speech. And I wish you all well. And Robert, good luck, my man. And the seat is all ready for you to go.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, one more thing, guys.
Good night. Goodbye to all.
Okay. He's signing out. I wanted to say one more thing. I wanted to welcome Robert, and I see that Jolene has also called in. She's not official yet, but I'm glad she called in to listen. And I'd like to, I'm looking forward to getting to know both of you and establishing strong relationships and bonds so we can work together and make the right decisions for kids together. I look forward to that. Also, I'd like to thank our administration for probably, since I've been on the board, I'm in my 24th year, I think. It's probably the worst. We've had some bad ones, but this has been the worst year that, you know, the most stressful. And they have worked through so many difficult things. And I want them to have a really wonderful holiday season. Want them to get rest and relax and spend time with their families, and want you to know how much I appreciate everything you've done this year, and you deserve a break for sure. So I hope you all have time to relax and don't work. Oh, Ron, sorry, I don't know if you want him to work, but I say don't work during the holiday.
Oh.
So, and I want to wish everyone a happy holiday season, all of the admin and all of the board members in the community. Thank you.
Same to you, Denise.
Frank, can I just say real quick, welcome to both our new board members. We look forward to working with you guys, and happy holidays to everybody. Enjoy your time off. Stay safe.
Thank you, George.
And I would just like to wish everyone a very blessed and safe holiday season and a wonderful 2021, because it's going to be a lot better than 2020 was.
And we all should, we all can't forget a happy Hanukkah.
I know, Andy, that's why I said happy holidays. We're in Hanukkah right now, and some people may already be celebrating.
Correct. Good night.
Okay, I guess I'll do it. If nothing else, Andy, again, my friend, you sign off for the last time with you, but you're gone, but not forgotten. That's for sure, my friend. And you always have a at home and at our board, always stay with you and communicate with you as we move forward. Welcome to Robert again, and also Jolene, and happy holidays, Hanukkah, and all the rest for everybody. It's a nice break and have a safe, happy holiday season. And when we reconvene in January 11th, we'll have some good news on the horizon and some good things that will happen, positive things that we can hang our head on. So that's it. So, all right. If nothing else, we will move to adjourn.
Andy, you want to make the motion, dude?
I do. I move to adjourn.
I will support Andy's motion to adjourn.
Moved by Mr. Patzer, supported by Ms. Aquino. Roll call vote. Ms. Pyden, please.
Mr. Patzer.
Oh, yeah.
Ms. Aquino.
Yes.
Mr. Bednard.
Yes.
Ms. Dominczak.
Yes.
Mr. Soba.
Definitely.
Mr. Vojtovich.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Motion carries.
Okay, meeting adjourns at 7:15 p.m. 7:15. So, all right, everybody, have a great holiday season. Stay safe. I'm sure we're gonna all be in touch.
Take care, everyone. Hi, Jackson. Hi, Brooke.
Bye, Brooke. Jackson, you're so cute. So are you, Brooke. But hi.
Night.
Merry Christmas, guys.